This is Brain 9 in a Vat YouTube channel. Buckle up. Hi and welcome to this very first video on my channel. My name is Dave. This video will just be information and I will list it in a playlist called Information. I will talk about what kind of content you can expect on the channel, how I will present it and why I want to share this. I will also talk a bit about myself and what makes me tick. The subjects on this channel will be philosophy, religion, ethics, psychology, worldview, science, history, you know, those kind of things. But this will not be yet another science communicator channel. I don't have a formal education in any of the topics. And there are already many really good channels where you can go and learn about all of this. In fact, I will assume that the audience have some background knowledge on all the topics I talk about. My videos will be opinionated. As I said, educationally, I am an average Joe when it comes to all the topics I mentioned. But I have had a lifelong interest in all of them, and I am half a century old. I was born in the later part of the last millennia, more precisely in the early 1970s, and I have always considered myself a nerd. Worldview will be one of my main topics. All humans have a worldview. One can think of it as a set of beliefs that lie in the background and silently informs decisions, opinions, and not least actions. Also, I don't think one 100% choose one's own worldview. It is beliefs, remember, and one don't always choose what to believe. But for me, it's absolutely clear that this worldview that all of us have should be as rational as possible. Beliefs can be overturned by information, more information, or experience. A healthy relationship or toolbox, if you want, for critically analyzing new information is, in my opinion, crucial. The first playlist I will make will be named Building My Worldview. Here I will talk about the toolbox and the type of information I have collected over the years and implemented to my worldview. Of course, I hope no one will just copy-paste my way of doing it. The intention is to create debates, and maybe I also can inspire others to become more conscientious about their fundamental beliefs and how it is influencing everyday life. It is my hopes and dreams that one day logics, rationality and critical thinking is taught in all schools from primary level. Actually, from day one. This channel is not listed for children though. I have listed a channel at YouTube as suited for grown-ups. Today, in my opinion, there is way too little, especially of principles of rationality and critical thinking, taught in school. Especially at early levels when the brain is mostly receptive. I mean, no one who claims that they cherish truth have anything to fear from critical thinking. Critical thinking has kind of suddenly also become much more important than ever. Not just due to, the information society, but also because information has unfortunately become weaponized. I don't like war analogies. I'm thinking about the metaphor weaponized. But here I think it is appropriate. Considering stuff like alternative facts and the conspiracy crowd. But it's also not even a metaphor when looking at the accessibilities the free countries of the world offer for authoritarian countries to spread misinformation. The best countermeasure for misinformation is a good toolbox for evaluating new information. Anyway, contemporary politics is not going to be a topic on this channel. I might, however, talk about principles of politics as it overlaps with religion, philosophy, or history. Neither will I report on news stories, unless it also touches directly into previously mentioned topics. My goal for this channel is to promote healthy debate about the topics mentioned, rationality as I said, and critical thinking. I promised to tell you a bit about myself. First, I am a humanist. I believe in human ethics. I don't believe in any form of universal objective morality. The morality that a society or culture has is, of course, objectively their morality. But what behavior this morality specifically encourages is, in my mind, evolved through generations of pragmatic evaluation of what works and what don't work in relation with survival and flourishment of that society or culture. I am also an atheist in that I reject the proposition there is a God, but I prefer the label skeptic non-believer. What I mean to say with that is that I reject the supernatural or magic altogether. There's nothing inherently wrong with the label atheist, it's just that it only answers one question. I have never believed in God. Despite growing up in a Christian family, in a Christian community, in a more than average Christian part of Norway. According to my mom, I never believed. And I also have always been open about it. To my knowledge, I have not suffered any ill social effects of this during my childhood or as a teenager. Both my immediate and my extended family, a Christian belief is considered the most rational stance, so indoctrination was not on the program anyway. I was taught to think rationally, and I guess they assumed I would come to a Christian belief sooner or later, since I showed sign of rational thought. Anyway, it didn't happen. So here I am, 50 years later, waiting for that great revelation. Now, just joking. I stopped waiting for that very long time ago. I don't consider myself an anti-theist, even though I think theism has a net negative effect on the present society. First, I can't really analyze what effect it has overall. When I say negative, it's really just a guess. I base it on the easy observable negative effects like bigotry, misogyny, tribalism. The list is long if you start digging in it. But I'm not sure this really is an effect of religion as such. Maybe it is just caused by human nature. Whatever the cause is, religion seems to harbor and conserve these attitudes. I am aware that people are fully capable of being assholes even without religion. And at the end of the day, I think assholes are going to be assholes either with or without religion. And then, most theists I have encountered in my life have been nice people. I think that blaming the religion for harmful attitude displayed by some religious people also can have counterproductive effect in that it takes the blame away from the person where I think it belongs. Everyone must stand accountable for their actions and attitudes no matter what label they go under. The notion, don't attack the person, attack the argument, is a gentle person's agreement. One that I don't see any point in extending to bigot, misogynists, and others who spout harmful beliefs or opinions. Anyway, as I said, I have grown up amongst nice, loving, caring, and compassionate theist people, and the vast majority of those I have met as an adult also fit this description. It's not my place to criticize how others organize their worldview, as long as they are not bothering anybody else. I categorize the topics of religion into two: ontology and, as a consequence, epistemology and utility. That will have to be enough about my relationship with theism for now. But as a side note, I would like to add, I don't share Matt Dillahunty's notion I like to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible. Personally, I just want to continue being happy. I just happen to believe that a realistic, true worldview aligns with that goal. For the most part, I like Matt, but there are small points I disagree with him on from time to time. I think life is fantastic. One philosophy or position that I don't understand is the one claiming that life is essentially suffering. Not that I don't have had my share of hard times, that's not what I mean. But I look at suffering the same way I look at pain. It's painful while it's going on, but pain is generally there to help one avoid things that it's harmful to the body. And I know sometimes the pain and suffering don't have any utility at all. What can one say? The system isn't perfect, I guess. So I consider myself lucky that I don't have any chronic pains or conditions that cause me to suffer. But the principle is still there. The idea that life is mostly or principally suffering probably springs from the idea or fancy that it somehow could be otherwise. But remember, I have never believed in some entity that have made it this way and could have made it some other way. The question, why is there disease in the world, is really easy. For more than half the time life has existed on this planet, all life was single-celled. And even multi-celled organism can be seen as just single-celled organism operating in a cooperation as best as it can. Again, the answer is nothing is perfect. The body is really good at fending off things that don't belong in the body and healing itself, but it's by no means perfect. The question, why is there death, is even easier. If there was no death, there would be no evolution. Imagine those who get their bodies frozen after death. If they get towed up in some 100,000 years in the future and the human race have out-evolved them, maybe even to the point that they are no longer considered the same species as those humans living then, maybe they will be exhibited and studied as early prototypes of Homo sapiens, just nature's test version of a Homo superior version 2.0 that lives then. Jokes aside, without evolutions, species would not be able to adapt to new environments. So why do you and everybody else have to die? Well, so that life may continue going on, of course. It's sad for you, but it's necessity for the species. I consider myself a soft determinist, but I'm not a compatibilist. I believe in a causal chain, but if any infinites exist, the causal chain will also be infinite. There are several infinites to pick from. This is definitely a topic that deserves a separate video on its own, but I just thought I would mention it. Consider it a teaser if you wish. In essence, I believe that the only way to interpret a scenario where the causal chain goes towards infinite is that it is random. Anyway, determinism is an approvable hypothesis, but unfortunately, one might say, so is randomness. The problem is that we need determinism. How else are we going to systematically investigate nature? But then again, randomness, I will postulate as a law of rational thinking. Any system or structure that is too complex for it to be predicted must be treated as if it is random, or something of that sort. And still, it must be studied as if it adheres to predictable laws. Okay, I guess I have been going on for long enough now. And I don't really expect anyone is going to see this video first, but I will reference it later It is in a way intended to be a reference in case somebody is coming across one of my videos and wonders what the heck is going on. To sum up what I have said, I will make opinionated videos about topics within the fields of philosophy, religion, ethics, psychology, worldview, science, and history, with the intention of promoting debate, awareness, and a conscious relationship to rational thought and critical thinking. I will add to that I have no intention to becoming a full-time YouTuber. I have a great job that I love within the field of engineering, and making YouTube videos is not really that fun. To be honest, it's boring work. So why do I do it then, you might ask? Well, I like the conversation, and I am burning for the cause, you might say. YouTube offers a great way to share elaborated arguments and opinions, so here I am, I guess. I love to be right. And that is the reason I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. This counts for all my videos. Please write a comment below or contact me with some of the contact information I provide in the description. Especially, I hope to hear from you, as I said, if you think I have said something that is factually wrong, or if you disagree with my takes on things. As I also have mentioned above, my videos are opinionated, and it's fully allowed to have different opinions. Thank you for the view, and have a nice day.